Does the idea of miracles fascinate you? Then I want you to consider this. Good morning, this is Lucky Links. If you've been liking these tips that I've been posting, please hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so that you never miss a video. If you'd like to get a reading from me or your Tibetan cosmology or astrology chart done, or take a class, contact me 779-302-8009 or conjurehope@gmail.com, or visit my website, luckylinksfortune.com. Years ago, when I used to do readings in historical parks, I worked with a gentleman who used to breathe fire and walk on glass. Now, the first time I saw him walk on glass, it blew my mind because he was barefoot, walking over glass, and he didn't get a single cut on him. I watched him several times and I was fascinated, and finally he took me aside and he told me how he did it. Now, I made an assumption that the glass was just thrown on there randomly. But what really happened was he took the glass and the broken pieces and he arranged flat, smooth pieces along footsteps that he could then step on, and next to it, away from and around his feet, were the jagged pieces. So it looked like he was walking on jagged glass, but in actuality, he was walking over a bunch of smooth pieces that he'd specifically chosen and placed to go under his feet so he could make a clear path through it. Well, when I found that out, I was really disappointed. It felt like I'd been cheated. This was what we call a false miracle. A false miracle is something that leaves us feeling that there could have been some incredible possibility, some wonder, some magic, but we've been cheated of the opportunity. Another thing happened to me that really kind of drove it home for me. I was in a bar one day and I saw my favorite author. Now, he was a comedic author and his novels were hysterical, and I couldn't believe he was standing there. And I walked over and I had a drink with him and I started talking to him. And I was so excited because I thought he would be the funniest person in the world. And you know what? He wasn't. He was dry. He was boring, and there was nothing funny about him. And again, it felt like a false miracle. A friend of mine said, "Well, what do you expect? Him to be funny all the time?" And of course, she was absolutely right. I had no right to expect him to be funny to amuse me because I was around. But she said, maybe he leaves his sense of humor in the typewriter. But that all makes me think about the idea of things that we think are miraculous that turn out to be disappointing. When we're kids and we find out the truth about certain magical things that aren't magical at all, and we get disappointed. Years later, when I went on the Tibetan Bond path, I experienced some things that I'd only read about in books that were legendary, that were truly miraculous, and that blew my mind. Now, the reason I bring this up, over the next few years, as things start to change for humanity, I would like to ask everyone to reconsider what we call a miracle. Are we settling really low for what we think is a miracle? And should we expect something much more profound? When this video is over, I want you all to go and do an experiment. Go to your bathrooms or go to your bedrooms, stand in front of the mirror, and look deeply into it. There you will see a miracle that I guarantee you have underestimated, and a miracle that contains many answers that you have probably overlooked. I'm Lucky Links, as always, wishing you success and good fortune in all that you do.